Here's why I sold my Vitpilen 401 and why you should buy one. The Vitpilen's design is amazing. How do I know? Because, well, it's generally a consensus. No matter where I rode, I would receive compliments on the bike, especially from those who aren't necessarily into motorcycles. The bike's classic lines provide a jumping off point for a decidedly futuristic theme, a winning combination. I've covered this before in some of my previous videos. Husqvarna was really able to design something that pays homage to the classics, yet something completely fresh. For comparison, the Honda CB300R and its neo-retro design language come close, but comes off somewhat half-baked when compared to the balls-to-the-walls, full-tilt, cafe lines of the Vitpilen. While the 401 employs just one cylinder, that one cylinder doesn't have to put up with a whole lot, with a claimed dry weight of only 333 pounds. As a first-time rider, the psychological and physical effects of a lightweight motorcycle cannot be understated. It's a dream to turn in, and I never felt like it was going to drop. Calling it nimble doesn't do it justice. The 370cc already punches well above its weight at 43 horsepower and 27 pound-feet of torque. Find me another small displacement bike with 43 horsepower that's 5K and looks this good. There was a good long while where flooring this thing scared me and put a smile on my face at the same time. That sensation, of course, wore off after testing out more powerful bikes, but I won't ever forget that pure feeling. There's a lot to be said for modern conveniences when it comes to life on two wheels. Despite its buyer demographic and budget-minded appeal, the Vitpilen doesn't suffer from "you don't need it" mentality. To name a few things that I was happy to have after briefly owning a 2011 Triumph Bonneville: ABS, a gear indicator, a fuel gauge, a shift light, LED daytime running lights, and brake lights. We can keep trying to justify the majority of new bikes still not coming with all these modern conveniences, some of which are just must-haves at this point. Unlike recent technology developments in cars like semi-autonomous driving that effectively make drivers dull and less capable of driving, these conveniences make first-time riders better riders. The LEDs and the ABS, in particular on the Vitpilen, made it safer and more enjoyable for me to ride. It's modernity done right. Why I sold it. Seating position may be the number one consideration for buying a motorcycle. The Vitpilen has a fantastic seating position for the style of riding that it's intended for. You're seated high and almost perfectly in the middle of the bike. While feeling like Superman with your arms almost in front of you, the gauges and front bars are completely out of sight. While it feels amazing, Florida roads are uneventfully long and straight. This meant that longer trips were mostly out of the question for me due to the more aggressive ergos. Husqvarna's dirt bike DNA really comes out when you look at the bike's seat height. While you're slightly hunched forward, you're quite high and have a commanding view over most sedans, and while sitting up, some trucks. At the end of the day, at 5'7", the seat height of almost 33 inches was just too bothersome, forcing one of my legs to act more of a kickstand than a stabilizer at traffic lights. As I mentioned before, the Vitpilen 401 is by no means down on power. The torque output and feeling you get off the line is fantastic, but its single-cylinder characteristics don't lend to the smoothest of operations. If you haven't ridden twin-cylinder bikes, you won't notice this, but I did ride a few twins, and they just felt better to me. All in all, the Husqvarna Vitpilen 401 is a fantastic motorcycle. Excellent looks, modern standard equipment, and powerful while still being beginner-friendly. There's a big part of me that regrets letting it go. In fact, if I had the means, I would have kept it in my collection. But there's a larger part of me that wants to keep exploring all that the world of motorcycles has to offer. If you're on the fence about this bike, don't be. It's the right choice.